Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to have art together. So you're going to need a few supplies. So if you can get 1.5 sheets of paper, you just need a little sheet of paper and a regular sheet of paper. You're going to need a pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you can see my lines better. Glue and scissors, some crayons, and if you have any tissue paper or any kind of colored paper, I'm going to also use some crepe paper. So if you have any of this streamer paper, that will work for this project too, because today we're going to make a still life with tissue paper. So this is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to hear me say the word symmetry today. And whenever we talk about symmetry, we're talking about something that is symmetrical. If you divide it in half, it's the same on both sides. Like your face is symmetrical, it's the same on both sides. So you're going to hear me talk about symmetry today when we make our still life. All right, so let's talk about what is a still life. A still life is an arrangement of objects that cannot move on their own. A good example of a still life is a vase of flowers sitting on a table or a bowl of fruit. Now, artists really like to make a still life because this might be something they have in their house that they can just arrange on a table and they could draw or paint it or photograph it. If you want to practice making your own still lifes at home, you can take some pictures of your still lifes. So here we have a very famous French artist named Paul Cézanne. He loved to make still lifes, and he did all kinds of different still lifes. A lot of still lifes he did were with fruit sitting on a table. Look at the tablecloth he used with patterns. So today when you make your tablecloth, you might want to put some patterns and designs and different colors on it. Now look at this still life. Look at this vase with flowers. I see that he's using different kinds of flowers. You have some red flowers, some yellow flowers, some white flowers. Look at how he's showing the center of some of those flowers. And then I'm noticing that he has some stems and leaves and other types of greenery in there. Now, look at the shape of this vase because you're going to make a vase today. And sometimes when we talk about the shape of the vase, we're talking about different, almost like different body parts. So the top of the vase is called the lip, and then this is the body, and then this is the foot. Now, not all vases have all those parts, but if you want to put those on your vase today, you can. All right, let's talk about another famous artist, and he did a lot of still lifes as well. His name is Vincent van Gogh. He's a Dutch artist, and this is a portrait that he painted of himself, so that's called a self-portrait. And over here we have an example of one of his most famous paintings called Sunflowers. Now these sunflowers were growing right outside his house, so he could cut them, bring them inside, and paint them, and he did a lot of paintings of these sunflowers. All right, now look at the shape of this vase. It kind of curves out and then back in. If you want to do a vase like this, you can. Now what do you think this horizontal line is right here at the bottom? This is the table. So today, when we draw our horizontal line, that's going to represent the table for our vase to sit on. Now, sometimes an artist does all the same flowers in their still life. Like you might do all white flowers or all yellow flowers. Or if you want to do like Cézanne did and have some red, some yellow, some white flowers, you can. You can have a variety. Now, I've brought up these two still lifes for us to look at today because I wanted you to look at the vase shapes. Okay, let's look at this shape. All right, do you see how it kind of zigzags in and out? So that's a good shape for a vase today. And look at how they put a little tablecloth with a pattern at the bottom. All right, this is called red orange poppies. And I noticed that the vase shape is very rectangular. So this is a very simple vase. If you want to cut out a very simple vase today, this is an easy one to do, a rectangle shape. And then if you look at the flowers, I see some are kind of small. Do you know what those are called right there? Those are called buds. They haven't opened yet. So if you want to include any flower buds in your still life today, you can. Oh, here's some examples of my students' still lifes. And this is what we're going to make today. They used a black sheet of paper. We're going to use white. But if you have black and you want to use that, you can, or any other colors. All right, so I'm looking at this still life right here, and it kind of reminds me of that zigzag vase we just saw. And then look at how they're using the tissue paper to make different kinds of flowers in their vase. All right, now this student did some different kinds of flowers. They twisted the tissue paper and they made some different shapes of flowers, and they used different colors in their flowers. And look at this curved vase they used. And she also did kind of a Van Gogh style vase with a big body right there. So if you want to do that. And she did all the same kind of flowers, all white flowers with a blue center. Now I'm looking at some of her leaves and stems and other greenery in her vase, and I like how she went all the way to the top of her paper. Do you think you can fill up the whole space in your still life today? That will make it very interesting to look at. So today we're going to start by making our vase, and you need to get out your little sheet of paper, your half sheet of paper. And to make our vase today, we're going to start by folding it in half, because we want to make our vase symmetrical. That means it's going to be the same on both sides. All right, now here's the folded side of the paper right here. And I drew on the board some different vase shapes. And where the little dot is, that's the folded side. It's very important that you think about your fold when you cut out your vase today. Now, if you want to do kind of a zigzag shaped vase, you would kind of zig in and out like this. And you could do as many zigzags as you want. All right, now look at this vase shape, because we're only going to draw half of the vase. And you see it has a lip, a body, and a foot. All right, do you want to do a vase like that? All right, now this has a little zigzag and a curve. You can do a vase like that. Or a wavy line. I think I might try a wavy line. So here's my little half sheet of paper that I folded in half. Here's the folded line. So I'm going to put it on here, and I'm going to do a wavy vase, just like that. So I drew a wavy line, looks kind of like an S. Now I'm going to keep my paper folded in half, and I'm going to cut on my line. So just cut on your little pencil line with your paper folded. Now when you open this, you're going to have a symmetrical vase. Do you see that? It's the same on both sides. And this line down the middle is called the line of symmetry. All right? Now, we're going to decorate our vase. So you could take your pencil or your crayons, and you can draw any kind of designs you want. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to draw some lines that go straight across, or I might draw some curved lines. And inside these lines, we're going to practice the 5 different types of lines that we learned last time together. Remember we talked about vertical lines that go straight up and down? Can you draw some of those on your vase? All right, what about horizontal lines? Remember those are flat, they go straight out, they're kind of like a pancake. Let's draw some horizontal lines, as many as you want. Okay, so we have vertical and horizontal. Do you remember diagonal lines? They're slanted like a slide. You can even make them crisscross, like an X. I might do some diagonal lines this way, and then do some diagonal lines this way. That'd be fun. All right, in the next space, I'm gonna draw some curved lines. Maybe spirals or wavy lines. Do you like to do bumpy lines? Let's try bumpy lines. So I'm gonna go bump, bump, bump. Oh, that's fun. All right, now in the last little space I have, I want to practice my zigzag lines. So these are going to go up and down, or you could draw Z's or lightning bolts, any kind of zigzags you want. So today we got to practice our lines again. All right, now it's time to add color to your vase. And you can add any colors you want. I'm going to use crayons, and if you have markers or paint, you can use those. And I'm just going to color this whole vase in, so it's very colorful on my still life. Some people do a pattern. If you want to do a pattern on your vase, if you want to do rainbow colors, I think I'll do a pattern. I might do red and orange this time. Now, I'm going kind of fast to give you time to do your own design, but if you want to slow down, take your time, do your best, that would be good. All right, let's add another color in this pattern. How about orange? Let's do a red and orange face this time. Now, if you want to add lots more colors, that would be great. I like a very colorful vase. All right. And then one more little spot at the bottom. There we go. All right, so our vase is colored in. So let's look at what we're going to do next. We're going to add the flowers to our vase. So we're going to put this vase down at the bottom, and then we're going to add those flowers. So let me get my glue out. And let's glue this down. It doesn't have to be right at the bottom of your paper, but kind of close to the bottom, because we need a lot of room up here for our flowers. So let's do it kind of close. How's that? All right, now we got our vase. Up here we're going to do our flowers. And this is where you need your tissue paper. Now if you have this kind of tissue paper at home that's all folded up, you could just cut a little strip like this. And this will be a good way for you to get started on this project, just to have some strips of tissue paper. If you have the crepe paper, I also cut that into strips so that it would be easier to tear. All right, now I'm ready to add my flowers. And I want to put the flowers up here at the top because I want to fill up this whole page. So I'm going to do a big circle of glue right here. And that's where my flower petals are going to go. So I take my tissue, and I can tear a little piece of tissue like this. And you can make this into any shape for your flower petals. I think I'll just do some little flower petals like this for this flower. But guess what? There's probably 20 different ways that you can tear and twist and bunch and fold this paper. So I'm going to show you some different ways you could do it too. But for this flower, I'm just going to tear some little tissues. And then I'm going to do a different color in the middle. How about green? Let's tear a little piece off and maybe just bunch it up and stick it in the middle. That'll be one of my flowers. Now I'm ready to do another flower. So somewhere right here would be a good spot. And this time, do you want to do a pattern like a green flower, a blue flower, do a pattern with them? Do you want to do all different color flowers? Let's think about our design. I think for this one, I'll try a green flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear the tissue again, and this time I'm going to try just to pinch the bottom of it. All right? Just pinch it. And that'll kind of make the little petals stand up. That'll be nice. It'll be very three-dimensional. All right? Tear it and pinch the bottom. I've had some students, they twist this paper, they fold the paper. So there's lots of ways you can do it. All right, let's just do, we need one more petal with the green. All right, great. So this flower's done, but we want to do a different color in the middle. I don't want to do green in the middle, so how about blue? We want the middle part of the flower to stand out. And you could add other colors in there. I could add some white or some pink. I think for my last flower, I have room right here to do one more flower. Let's put it right here. How do we want to do our tissue paper this time? Do we want to try something different? Do you want to fold the paper maybe? Just fold it like this to make a little petal? You could do that. On this flower right here, I just took the tissue paper and I crumpled it up to make it kind of like a flower with little bunchy petals. Okay, you could try that. Oh, remember we talked about flower buds? If you want to make a flower bud, you can just kind of roll the paper up like this. Roll it up and make a little flower bud. I think I'll have one little flower bud over here. All right. Just like that. All right, let's finish this little pink flower by, I'm going to fold the tissue paper. I think I'll do 2 more petals for this one. Now, guess what? You can add a lot more designs in here with the tissue paper. Some of my students make those little filaments and anthers or stamen in the middle. So let's see what color. What about blue? you can make little designs inside your flower. I'm going to twist this up just like this. And then these could be sticking out of a flower like that. You can have little things sticking out. Maybe I'll put this inside of my, I'll cut this little piece off and put a little glue on it. And maybe I'll stick this inside the flower bud. Just like that, just sticking out a little bit. And then I still need to bunch up a little paper for the center of my pink flower. All right, when you're finished adding your flowers, look at your design and see if you need to add any more. Is there any more flowers I need to add, or is this good? I think I'm happy with this. And you know, when it's time to draw your stems and your leaves, you can also draw some more flowers. So let's look at that. Now let's add our stems and leaves and any other greenery. So you can have some leaves in there, you can have some little vines, you can have some other types of flowers, some greenery in there. So I'm going to take out my green crayons. And I always like to tell my students to pick out more than one color green, maybe a dark green and a light green, because we like to have values in our artwork. It makes it more interesting and fun to look at. So where do these stems go? Do they go all the way down here to the bottom, or do they go inside the vase? Yes, you're right. They go right here inside the vase, just like this. So let's draw all these little stems going inside the vase. All right, now I did the dark green. I want to add some light green to these stems to give them some values. Doesn't that look better? Just a little bit of dark and light. And it's not hard to do, just a little bit of extra color. All right, now we added our stems. It's time to add our leaves. We could make some big leaves like this. And I'm going to add some little veins in these leaves. All right. Let's add some big leaves to this one because I think they're the same flowers. All right. And what about some small leaves? Just little small leaves. You can add those too. Or some of my students like to add thorns if they're drawing roses. You could do that too. All right, now I have those leaves in. I do want to still give them a lighter value. You can use yellow, you can use light green. What color do you want to put in there to give it some values? I think I'll just use the light green again. That looks good. Let's give all these leaves up here some dark and light values. All right, I'm done with my stems and leaves, but I still want you to put some other greenery in there because that'll fill up the space. And I really like these little vine shapes. Those are fun to draw because they're kind of like a spiral. Look at that. You could do that very easily, can't you? Add some little vines in here. And these flowers right here kind of reminds me of baby's breath. Have you ever seen those flowers inside of the roses? They're these little white flowers with little dots. So I might draw some of those, but I'm going to make them pink instead of white because you won't be able to see the white on my paper. So how about some little pink dots? Oh, I like that. I need another one of those. Or what if I add it to this little vine? I could add some little pink flowers on there. And what about some pink flowers on here? Now look at your still life. Did you fill up the whole space above? I think it looks good when you kind of fill up the space. All right, I think that looks good. Now guess what? Let's add this horizontal line for our table, like Van Gogh did. All right, so what color do you want to do your table? Do you want to do a brown wooden table? Do you want to do a table with lots of colors, like those tablecloths we saw with patterns on them? I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line on this side of my vase and a horizontal line on this side of my vase. All right, and I have to think about what kind of pattern do I want to do? Do I want to do polka dots? Do I want to do diagonal stripes, vertical stripes? What kind of, or little dash lines and dotted lines? Could I do a tablecloth with crisscross lines that look like diamonds? Let's try that. I think we'll do the crisscross lines. So look right here. Draw some diagonal lines if you want to do crisscross. All right, and then we'll draw some other lines that are going diagonal the other way. And we see these little diamond patterns you're making. Oh, this will be really nice if we color it all in. We don't want to leave our table white. We want to color it in. So maybe I'll do some pinks on the inside. And you can create a pattern on your tablecloth. Look at this. All right, after you finish this table and your tablecloth, you're done with your still life. We're not going to add too much stuff up here, but if you want to put anything else in the background, if you have other space, maybe you want to put a little bumblebee up here or a little butterfly, you can. If you have space and you want to draw a window. Remember, this still life is probably inside of a house. It's not outside. There's not going to be a sunshine because we're inside. We brought these flowers in to draw them. All right. Now, I had a lot of fun with you guys today making a still life. I hope you will send me some pictures of your still life. And I hope you will display them at home. Everybody loves to see your artwork. And I love to see it the most, but if you want to put it up in your window or hang it on your refrigerator, if you want to email me a picture, I love to see your artwork. My email address is rwright@mcpss.com. And please show off your work. You're so talented. You're all artists, and I love to see them. So I'll see you guys later.